Ahmad has admitted that Marcus Rashford is the most talented footballer he has played with at Manchester United, in a snub to superstar captain Bruno Fernandes. United's Manchester derby hero has solidified himself as a key component in Ruben Amorim's team. He won a late penalty converted by Fernandes, before expertly scoring a last-minute winner to secure the 3 points against a struggling City side on Sunday. However, one player that was notably absent from that important match was academy graduate Rashford. The 27-year-old has scored 138 goals and assisted 63 times in 426 appearances for his boyhood club, and has been a fan favourite ever since his debut against FC Midtjylland in 2016, where he scored twice to secure a 5-1 win in the Europa League. But he has been out of form and out of favour at United for some time now, with many fans claiming he hasn't been trying hard enough on the pitch. Youngster Ahmad has previously stated that the most talented player in the squad is in fact Rashford, though, despite also having the likes of Fernandes, Kobbie Mainoo and Alejandro Garnacho also left out the squad at the Etihad. To choose from speaking to JD Football on TikTok, Ahmad said, "Oh, this is difficult. There are a lot of quality players in the team, but when I came here, the player I was most impressed by was Rashi. He was quick, he was strong, and I want to say Rashi because he was so good, and he's good also now." Ahmad's opinion seems firmly etched despite Rashford's poor form over the last 12 months. He has scored just 7 times this season, in comparison to one of his best seasons in 2022-23, where Rashford bagged 30 goals and assisted 9 times in 56 appearances. While the 27-year-old may not be back to his high-scoring best for United, former Old Trafford hero Gary Neville has insisted that there is a way back for the out-of-favour star. Speaking on the It's Called Soccer podcast, Neville said, "I said on Sunday after the game, if you asked me at the start of the season, who are Manchester United's best attacking players? I'd have said Garnacho and Rashford. They're not even in the matchday squad. I'm sure they'll come back in this week. I always like to think there's a way back. Players that I played with that, to be fair, had a lot better form and a lot better careers, were left out in the stands at times. Famous players who were quite openly thrown into the stands, and it was big news, and there was a lot made of it. So it's not the first time this has happened at a football club, where a player has been discarded. However, Manchester United are looking for a cultural reset. But it appears Rashford is not interested in a route back into the limelight at Old Trafford, given he has spoken openly this week about his desire for a new challenge. The forward could well depart in the January transfer window, with clubs in the Premier League and abroad now on red alert. Ruben Amorim's hopes of a first Manchester United trophy in the Carabao Cup are over, after a thrilling tie in North London ended in a 4-3 win for Tottenham. United had played well in the first half, but a lack of cutting edge in the final third was costing them, and a mistake from Altay Bayindir gifted Dominic Solanke the opener. When Dejan Kulusevski and Solanke scored in the first 9 minutes of the second half, the tie looked over. But United's play and possession had been encouraging all night, and a triple change from Ruben Amorim got them back in the game, along with a nightmare few minutes for Tottenham goalkeeper Fraser Forster. Joshua Zirkzee scored from close range after Forster gifted possession to Bruno Fernandes before Ahmad blocked a clearance into the goal. Another Bayindir mistake, allowing Son Heung-min to score direct from a corner, put Tottenham 4-2 up before Johnny Evans' injury time header made for a dramatic final couple of minutes. Here are some of the things you might have missed at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. United were threatening to get back in the game after Zirkzee's goal and built up a head of steam in front of their own fans. They had been playing well all night, and belief was beginning to return. With just over 20 minutes to go, another corner routine created a difficult chance for Ahmad, with the ball bobbling up at him. His effort was deflected narrowly wide and delivered another corner. It elicited a roar from the visiting fans, and with momentum building, Ahmad sensed the moment, waving both arms in the air to try and get more noise cascading down. The 22-year-old has suddenly become a player who can make those gestures because his work rate matches the kind of effort those supporters would put in. To prove the point, he sprinted at Forster after Tottenham displayed their nerves with a negative corner routine that went back to the goalkeeper. When Forster dallied, Ahmad flew from nowhere to block the shot into the back of the net. As he got the ball out the back of the net, he again turned to those fans to raise the noise. He did it again when Noussair Mazraoui fired a shot just off target, lifting the wing-back to his feet. It was a visible sign of the confidence and leadership in his game. The wing-backs are arguably the key positions in Amorim's 3-4-2-1 system, and for the first time at Tottenham, we saw the potential they have in this shape to combine to cause problems. There might come a time when Amorim wants a more attacking option than the two-fielded Mazraoui and Diogo Dalot, and he might also want a left-footed option. But for now, that duo combined well. Switches of play were the plan against a narrow Tottenham, particularly Mazraoui, going crossfield to Dalot. On a few occasions, that long pass found the Portuguese in space down the left, with space to attack Pedro Porro. It wasn't a tactic confined to the wing-backs, with the midfielders occasionally dropping in to play the pass, and Fernandes sometimes peeling to the left to try and receive it. It was something United had worked on, and it will be interesting to see if it's a tactic they keep in their armoury now. Altay Bayindir has now made 4 starts for United under 3 different managers, and Amorim has kept a promise to the Turkish goalkeeper that this would be his competition this season. Bayindir played only once last season when Andre Onana was at the Africa Cup of Nations, and he has been disappointed in his lack of game time and the fact he has no chance of challenging or usurping Onana as the club's number 1. But it makes those rare chances he does get all the more important, and the truth is the Turkish goalkeeper has rarely looked the part when he does play. He made a mess of Porro's straight shot and gifted Solanke a finish. Then he made a mess of Son's corner, and that was that. A hastily made banner from an unwanted bedsheet appeared draped over the first-tier hoardings just before kick-off, reading, "Excuses, Tar Ra Marcus, M34 Danebank." In this instance, including a location for the orchestrators felt telling. This is Mancunians from Denton, making it clear they have had enough of one of their own. The banner was missed by the cameras broadcasting the game live, but it was evident in the stadium, and images started circulating online immediately. Rashford would surely be aware of it, and wonder how it came to this. An hour and a half earlier, there were plenty of eyes trained on the United players as they made their way to the dressing rooms at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium via the side of the pitch, and not just for those awful leather biker jackets they've started wearing. The fact that photographers didn't see Rashford boarding the train with the rest of the squad at Stockport on Wednesday afternoon was a clear indication he wasn't in the squad. But then Mazraoui wasn't seen travelling to Arsenal 2 weeks ago, but still made the starting 18s. Former Liverpool defender Jamie Carragher believes Lenny Yoro has the right physique to be a centre-back, unlike his Manchester United teammate Lisandro Martinez. Previously speaking on the Stick to Football podcast, Carragher expressed that if he was in charge of United's recruitment, he would have never signed Martinez due to his build. I said this when Manchester United signed him, but I did worry about Lisandro Martinez for his height. He explained Marcus Rashford still has a future at Manchester United despite expressing a desire to leave the club, says Ruben Amorim. It's been a difficult 18 months for Rashford, who has struggled for form. And there had been rumblings that United were preparing to sell him before he was left out of the squad for last weekend's Manchester derby by Amorim. If I was a manager, I would never buy a defender that small. And the reason being, it's not just him. I like him as a player. And he's got great spirit, he's brilliant on the ball, he's aggressive. But the way the game's now, because fullbacks are almost like wingers, there's not that many big players in your team, so your fullbacks aren't the biggest anymore. I always think for set pieces, your centre-backs sometimes, and even your striker now. How many teams play with a massive player up front? It doesn't really happen as much. Your 2 centre-backs have got to be, just for set pieces, 6 feet 3 inches, 6 feet 4 inches. So at least you've got those 2 pillars. Ahead of Yoro's debut in the Carabao Cup, Carragher waxed lyrical about the Frenchman's height. He told Sky Sports, "I'm really looking forward to seeing him." He has had bits and pieces with the new manager so far. When he signed, it was almost like Manchester United were doing something different. It wasn't like signing Raphael Varane or Casemiro from Real Madrid, where they have had their best days. This lad's best days are in front of him. You look at the size and the physique of him, he looks the part before we have seen him play. He looks like a centre-back. He looks like he has got that stature and presence. He is in a back 3, He wasn't bought originally to play in that system. When you play a back three, no centre-back wants to be drawn into those wide areas, but when you look at those long legs, you think he may be able to deal with it. Marcus Rashford still has a future at Manchester United despite expressing a desire to leave the club, says Ruben Amorim. It's been a difficult 18 months for Rashford, who has struggled for form, and there had been rumblings that United were preparing to sell him before he was left out of the squad for last weekend's Manchester derby by Amorim. The 27-year-old would go on to admit in an interview earlier this week that he was ready for a new challenge, casting serious doubt on his future at Old Trafford. But Amorim has since stressed that he would like the forward to stay, even though he was once again absent from United's squad on Thursday, where they were eliminated from the Carabao Cup by Tottenham speaking. After the dramatic 4-3 defeat, Amorim was asked if a parting of the ways was best for both the and club and Rashford. But he certainly didn't give the impression that he wanted to cash in on United's homegrown star. He told Sky Sports Tomorrow we have training. He will be there preparing for next game. He is a United player. Everyone has a future at Man United. The Portuguese coach expressed similar sentiments in the build-up to Thursday night's match. As well as admitting Rashford should probably have spoken to him privately about his desire for a new challenge, he reinforced that the club still believed in him. Nothing has changed. We believe in Marcus, said Amorim. It's hard to explain to you guys what I'm going to do. I'm a little bit emotional, so in the moment I will decide what to do. It's a hard situation to comment on. If I give a lot of importance, it will have big headlines in the papers, and if I say it's not a problem, then my standards are getting low. He added, I don't talk about the future, we talk about the present. This kind of club needs big talent, and he's a big talent, so he just needs to perform at the highest level, and that is my focus. I just want to help Marcus.